to work like it's all up to you, and then to pray like it's all up to God.
Yeah.
Salute. This is Eshawn Burgundy. Right now, you're in the field with the Trackstarz.
Yeah, back in the field with the Trackstarz. Ryan Righteous, Shantana, DJ Jeremiah. Was good.
All right, this segment is sponsored by Nectar Distribution. We have new elite artists signing up all the time. Elite artists, you can get all of your project, all of your information out to our community. You can promote unlimited per month if you join Nectar Elite. Nectar Elite, more than 150 digital outlets that we have you out to. Hundreds of artists have already subscribed. You need to be next in line.
Okay, so this week has been interesting as far as the genre that we are associated with. I feel like Christian hip hop is going through some stuff.
Yeah.
So first thing I heard about was Wado. Wado basically, was he responding to something, or did this just come out?
I mean, I think he just was talking about it.
Yeah.
Let me go pick it up. But he was basically saying that he feels like where he is in his life, that Christian hip hop is not his main focus. Was it on that level?
It was more so. He said that it's just music for a lot of artists, and it's not about ministry as much. And because of that, it kind of maybe would change the way he supports the genre.
Yeah.
If that's the way the artists are going.
Yeah. So basically, it was like he has ministries of doing other stuff now. Right now in his personal life, he has a ministry of he works with his youth at his church. He does other stuff as well. But as CHH used to be his main focus, but it's not his main focus as much. So that was one of those things that people were talking about with him. I'm trying to find the actual tweet, so we won't take his joint out of context. But I think other people started adding on to what he was saying. Was like, I think the guy that who was running New H2O, which was a Christian hip hop website, he was like, yeah, man, I got out of it, man, because it's just not. It's like he's like, there's no difference between J. Cole and other these people. He's like, the music sounds the same. There's no power in it, and whoop-de-whoop and stuff like that. So it just feels like a lot of people are like kind of falling back from CHH, and not like I'm not doing this no more, or like leave it alone. It's like God is maturing me to another level of my responsibility is not CHH like it used to be. You know.
When I heard it, it felt to me like maybe not a goodbye, but maybe I'm slowly backing out, or I'm backing away slowly from the genre, and then we talked about this. You back away slowly, and then you just kind of disappear.
So he says CHH has dominated my life the past 10 or 11 years. I mean, it really has taken a huge space in it, and I'm thankful for everyone I have met while doing this. I have some lifelong friends from the scene, but it's time for CHH to have a smaller space in my life.
Yeah. And I get that.
That's not the original tweet, though, right?
I mean, that's one of them.
Yeah. Give me the original tweet if you can find it.
Yeah.
I get that, though.
Yes, sir.
I mean, just to kind of go into another direction, right? I was talking with a student at school yesterday, and he just got so mad at me because he said something about I'm not watching NFL anymore, right? And I was just like,
you're not watching no more?
No, he said that. He said that, and I was like, I'm gonna continue to watch the NFL. It's just entertainment.
He said he's not gonna watch it no more?
Yeah, he said he wasn't gonna watch it anymore.
Okay.
And I said, I'm gonna continue to watch the NFL. It's just entertainment to me. He said, my brother, is it really entertainment or is it a distraction? Yeah, he did. Yeah, and I manage him, so I'm kind of like my brother.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was just like, okay, but it is what it is. You can have your own opinion about it. So I think people are getting to a point right now where they see some things as a distraction, and not necessarily like the tunnel, right? I felt that way several times. Like, do I need to actually like segment out my devotion time and make it this, and this? But then I'm always on my computer doing Trackstarz, and that's ministry for me. So for me, I'm just like, God, I gotta not have that time where I consider what I'm doing to be my devotion with you. So this morning I woke up extra early to spend time with God. And so those are the kind of things I think that we have to be concerned about, is like what we do. Is it a distraction from reading our Bible? Is it a distraction from us, spending time in Bible study with other believers? Or is it something that we really are called to do and it's ministry for us? So I think that's kind of the line that I get when I read that. Like, okay, it might be a distraction.
All right, so I've found what he was saying is a few tweets. The first one I think you talking about was sometimes I think it's more than music, it's ministry, it's dated because most people doing this don't do it for ministry now. It's just music, which is cool, but that's what God gave me and I ran with it. And then he said, as CHH has shifted, my passion for the genre has shifted too. It's one of the reasons I haven't done any new interviews. My passion for Christ has actually grown though, as God has been showing me new ways to serve people. It took me a while to admit it, but yeah. And I started doing Wado Radio because the music was ministering to me. I was working at a corporate job and had stopped DJing in nightclubs after I got saved. I was in my 20s then. I wasn't even married then. So much has changed since though. 3 kids, married for 10 years. I'm personally in a different space, and this scene is in a different space. Yeah.
So I was telling Wado that I think that we may have to start looking at this whole thing a little differently. I wonder. I think CHH has actually been very successful. And I think what's starting to happen is it's been so successful that we started attracting the kids that we wanted to minister to into the genre. Yeah. So now a lot of the artists are the kids that we wanted to minister to.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
So instead of looking at it as, oh, these ministers are falling away, a lot of these kids that are good at rapping need ministering as well. So I think we just need to look at it a little differently. Like they are. Remember when you were in youth group and you have a youth group full of kids and you're really praying that some of those kids will make it past the gap of college and make it past, a lot of the things that bring doubts into their life and temptations and all those kind of things. They are those kids.
Yeah.
Like What Up RG, who was at the concert that y'all talked about.
But I mean, What Up RG has grown since then. I'm talking about some of the artists are still at that stage where they are the ones that we are making the music for. The people we were making the music for are now making music.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
So instead of looking at
got you.
Instead of looking at it as, oh, I can't believe Christians are falling away and they're going after money instead of this and that. No, these are the kids have just now gotten on stage. You know when you're at church and every like Christmas or whatever they bring the youth kids up on stage to sing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like that. It's like it's not like they got their life together and they're like ministers. It's just this is the time for them to they're good at something, so they're doing their thing. And instead of looking down at them, I think we really need to realize that the people that we said we wanted to minister to are rapping. Let's talk to them, like minister to them the way you would minister to whoever else you said you were going to be ministering.
But I think at the same time, it's like the music, this genre's music always had power in the past. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like, and when I mean power, meaning like when you listen to it, it was discipling people. I mean, like what he just said, like it was discipling, the music was discipling people's lives.
But the people that you were discipling are now rapping.
Yeah.
They still need discipling.
No, yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
but
that's what you call it for, right?
Yeah, but I think what it is, it's not as much discipling no more. And I think that's what the feeling is mutual across the board with a lot of people who work behind the scenes in CHH. It's like the music is dope. People are good artists. But it's not feeding spiritually. It's not what it's almost like if I'm getting more from Cole than I'm getting from this guy, then that for some people is a problem.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
My point is that the ministry that we did in the late 90s, early 2000s worked.
Yeah.
It brought kids into the fold. Now those kids are rapping. It's still the same ministry.
Yeah.
It's just that now you got to minister to the rappers.
Yeah.
It's no different.
So what you're saying is their messaging, what they're writing, somebody needs to be like, I don't know, you may want to not say that, or are you talking about life on life discipleship with that person so they can grow and then
I would say stop expecting these new artists that the music we made in the 90s and 2000s brought them in.
Yeah.
Don't expect them to now be ready to go and start preaching. Like they still need development.
No, I'm not saying preaching, but I'm just saying even as the music. Okay, I use an example. Brel in the 2000s is different. His music is different than it is now because he said he was under somebody before that the gospel and everything wasn't as clear. But once he got under a teaching that was clear to him, he seen the urgency of how he had to write. So I'm thinking, that's what I'm asking. Is that based off of, we got these kids in, these kids was in youth group. They're not perfect. Nobody is. But at the same time, they're creating music that's not helping the next generation grow. That's what I'm saying. And I think that's what some of the music did in the past.
I got a clarifying question. I just want to understand what we're talking about. So, 'cause I think it's important because I'm trying to, my brain is jumping from topic to topic. Are you saying that what Wado may be alluding to is that the entire genre has shifted focus in terms of people that are discipled already, that have a platform, have shifted their direction? Or are you saying that the new people that are getting in don't have the right focus?
No, I can't speak for Wado because I don't know what his heart is saying. I think based on what I'm saying is, for some, when you listen to people's music, sometimes it doesn't have that same thing that you listened to before. You know what I mean?
And is that the new or the veterans?
I don't know. I mean, it could be both. It could be some new people. It could be some veterans too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some people, their stuff used to be potent. When you listen to it, it was like, man, that really ministered to me. And and to me, CHH has not always been like that. You can have some where somebody just talking about how dope God is or how dope their wife is, and you can learn from that. You know what I mean? Or just how, you know what I mean? Different things. It doesn't always have to be about Jesus. But as long as God is, you can hear God in it. It's like, man, that changed me. Challenged me.
I wonder how many people that say they miss music the way it was, were they Christians when Christian hip hop started really popping? Because I wonder if what they're saying is, I want Bible study music. It helped me become a better Christian.
Yeah.
And what these new kids are saying is,
I'm just trying
the
to
people I'm trying to talk, that too. But the people I'm trying to get the attention from aren't Christians.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to teach them, what Habakkuk and all that kind of stuff means.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get them interested in Jesus all.
Let me ask you a question. What was your first feeling when you heard after the music stopped?
Finally, we have something that sounds like high quality from a Christian. But I was already a Christian.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. But you wasn't like, hey man, this is after the music stopped by Lecrae. You want to check it out? You was like, yo,
everywhere.
You need to check this out because
No,
this is dope.
I did not do that.
You didn't.
I did.
That's right.
This is so funny.
But what I'm saying is that.
Dang, Sean.
But the music, see, that's what I'm trying to say is that, did this music for you, was it discipleship for you?
I know for certain songs was,
That's good because you were a Christian. What I think a lot of the young kids are saying is, my friends are not Christians. So Bible study music is not effective for them because they don't care about the Bible.
Yeah, I get that. I think what I'm saying is, I think what one of the gentlemen from New H2O was saying was that it's no different between, it used to be a difference between a J. Cole and so-and-so.
Well, you know what's interesting?
Differences were bad though.
Yeah. Well, yes. What'd you say?
Some of those differences were bad differences, right? Because there was difference in sound quality. There was a difference in infectious beats.
No, he's not talking about. He's not talking about
content.
He's talking content. Like.
But what's interesting is that mainstream has kind of come in too. So it's kind of a coming to a center.
Yeah.
So it's the reason it's not as different is because J. Cole isn't as ratchet as some of the music we used to have in the 90s too. So I think it's harder to tell now because everybody's kind of approaching the middle.
Yeah.
But I like what's happening.
Talk about it.
I like what's happening because I do, because I think we have two different problems happening.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting caught in a little bit of both. I think on one hand we have the problem that Sean is talking about that has to do with the gatekeepers and artist development.
Yeah.
Which is you just grabbing people off the street because they hot on YouTube and putting them on because you want to make money.
Yeah.
Right. Or and you're like, oh, that's cool. Because they're reaching people I'm not reaching.
Yeah.
And so I do think with some of that, if you're a gatekeeper or a record label and you see somebody popping, you do need to take them under your wing and go, hey, let's talk about what your message is. I mean, I have artists that I work with right now that nobody knows about because it's not time.
They're in training.
Right, because I'm going, well, if we put you in the Christian market and we really want you to, what's the word I want to use? Be impactful.
Yeah.
Then I got to get you ready almost to be a pastor in a sense.
Yeah.
Not necessarily ordained and all of that, but understanding the weight of the influence that's getting ready to happen. So I think there's an issue with artist development and discipleship. But then on the other hand, I think we've got folks like Lecrae, and other people, Andy Mineo, that are going, well, let's just use Lecrae, that are going, you know what, I did music like this for a long time, and I'm not sure my method is the most effective for evangelism.
Yeah.
And so you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for youth groups, it's effective because you're assuming there's a room full of kids that are Christian that just need to grow as a Christian. But he's out there talking to people who are not Christians.
Yeah.
And I think we're in a tug of war between what I see working in the field and what you think I should be doing. And I think that's the tug. And here's the deal. We're kind of in a dirty business. I don't know if we're not going to admit that this business is based off of popularity. It's based off of popularity. It's based off of numbers. It's based off of if you want to live off of this, money needs to come in, and if it doesn't come in on time, I'm gonna have to start getting a little tight. I'm gonna have to start doing more shows or whatever. It's kind of a dirty business, and the fact that it's based off of attention makes this whole thing kind of hard. I mean, you could be as Christian as you want to be, but you will be working a job like me if you don't figure out how to make this business thing work.
But isn't that just the music business in general?
Right. But that's the challenge. The challenge is that there's, back in the day, we didn't have a ton of people doing this full time. We're starting to creep into possibly now starting to get people full time. And I remember when I was full time for a little while, and Ryan knows this as well. This whole thing changes. Now it's excuse me, you didn't pay me. Excuse me, I can't come do your show because you're not giving me enough money. Like I physically can't do it. Like if I go do this show, I can't eat tomorrow. It becomes a different mindset,
different ballgame.
And when people are all at that tipping point of being able to do this full time, Christian hip hop is not the best space for that because there's not that much money in it. You either need to be super hot or you need to work a job.
Yeah.
And that
y'all getting real.
That deal that deal where you have to you almost have to figure out how to, it's like I said, a lot of this is based off attention. If you can't get the right amount of attention, you can't get the right amount of views and pull and all this kind of stuff, it doesn't work.
Exactly why I don't sign autographs.
I think the good thing is that you said that you were an artist, or you still are doing an artist. I think that's a good thing because what he was saying was like other stuff started happening to him that started taking his attention. DJ Waiter was like other stuff started taking his attention away from just being a DJ almost. You know what I mean? Now he's like working with young men, doing other stuff. Mm-hmm. So speak to that, like being an artist, and then you start seeing things starting to happen in your life where it's like, man, do I really have time to be an artist? I could be doing this, I could be doing that. God is calling me to this place. You know what I mean? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think my journey is a little different. One, I'll say to close out the conversation previous, I think you need KB and Lecrae. KB is a Bible teacher, and Lecrae is moving a little bit more evangelistic. So I wanted to make that point.
Absolutely.
As we talk about on the artist side, yeah, man. I mean, he's being real. I mean, because I had a mentor that told me, music business is 80%, and then music is 20%.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you're gonna make it in the music industry, you got to respect the industry part. You got to respect the business part, because otherwise, what we have is a lot of artists that have flipped the statistic, where I'm doing 80% of my time on music and 20% on business, and they can't live, and they can't eat. And so you do have to figure out. You really need to spend more time on the business side. Like, how do I actually build a business around my art? And I think what he's saying is, which is why I love platforms like Trackstarz, is because there is no industry. Or let me say it like this: the industry is not as large over here than it is in mainstream. Like, and when you go in mainstream culture, they got the radio stations that's playing with the clubs. They in bed with the club. The club is in bed with the liquor sponsor. The liquor sponsor is in bed with VH1, and it's just this industry that everybody can flow in, and money is just circulating. And so they can live. So that's why it's easy for people to go mainstream. Because it's almost like 10 versus 1,000 when we talk about the capital and all these other things. And so I do think that if we're in, and I'm getting beside the point, I'll circle back, but I do think that Christianity and Christian hip hop is getting to a point, and Christian music period is getting to a point where we're gonna have to make some decisions about what we're doing, because we have to make I think we're gonna have to make a choice. Are we going to be an industry for real? Are we really going to build and start building other elements, tours, concerts, clothing companies, I don't want to say clubs, but places, venues.
Well, because I always used to say this, and I really believe in my heart, if we had a radio station that plays music 24/7, people get to know it, love the music, and then they go out and you have a party or club.
Money, man. It costs money.
Yeah, it does.
And back to my dirty business thing. Here's the deal. Everybody listening, you guys are out here looking like a snack to some people. People are starting to notice that this thing is working. Lecrae hit #1, NF hit #1. They know the market, right? People are looking at you as money, right? And some of them are Christians, some of them are not Christians. It doesn't really matter. But the point is that they're starting to see that some of this is working, right? So just know that your viewership, your buying people's albums, your whatever is seen as the beginnings of an industry. So you just got to be careful. A lot of these artists are feeling the pressure to serve you up as a commodity so they can get a deal, so they can, get attention, so they could whatever. Some of them aren't doing it in mean-spirited way. They're just really trying to do this full time. And that's the compromise that a lot of artists are trying to make. How do I do this full time? How do I want to do this for ministry? I feel like I'm helping people. I'm not a bad person. But how do I make this work for me? And that's the decision they have.
It's scary because, like we've been out doing this full time before, in my 1 year out, I remember, Jesus almost left the building when I did an independent artist spotlight, and dude was like, I got to pay you for this? Like, we talked about this beforehand. So when the business comes into it, right, then you start feeling like, okay, I don't want my flesh to rise up and be, dominant in this situation when it's supposed to be more about ministry. And so sometimes you feel like I need to just chop this up. And then you're like, wait a minute, but this bill is due for real. So I can't do that, So that's the part that's really hard and really scary, is that when it becomes a business, right? And it's different for us, right? Because we're track stars, right? We're not individual person doing XYZ. And so every time you make a sale, or every time something comes in, it doesn't go directly to your pocket. So you're still in the same place where I either gotta, turn it up a notch and get my commission game going, or I have to, find something else to do. And that's a lot of what people have to do when they have a business that's not necessarily reliant on your gift, your talent, or your ability. So it does get very difficult, and I think it can be a distraction, because now you're starting to feel like you're serving this thing. I remember when I was having a hard time doing Trackstarz full time, and I was talking to another artist, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm just like, I'm grinding, I'm hitting these emails, I'm calling people, I'm da-da-da-da. He's like, man, close your laptop. And I was just like, what? I was like, man, I got bills due on Monday. It's Friday. Like, I need this money to come in PayPal, like, today. And he was like, close your laptop for the next 2 days. Close my laptop, open my laptop. It was more money there than what I was chasing before, because guy just saw the faithfulness of it, right? He saw the faithfulness of me closing my laptop and saying, I'm going to trust you.
I'm going to lean on you.
But the thing is, a lot of these ideas are antithetical to business. It's like you closing your laptop is the opposite of what a business person would say.
Right.
You do so the balance of ministry and business is one of the biggest mysteries ever, because a lot of things that, if a business person was watching some of the decisions we made and some of the opportunities we pass up, choosing integrity over opportunity, it's hard. It's hard to figure this thing out. And if there was a ton of money available and there was a lot of people backing it, the decision may be easier, because it will allow you to be a little bit more natural in your faith. But there's people on razor edge between, this is my life and I gotta give this up to go do something for my family. And it's just a hard line to we've been walking it for 10 plus years now. So I hope we all figure it out. And I think for the people who are really, really ministry minded, I would suggest you turn your attention to these artists. The people you are trying to reach are the artists. Try to minister to them, because whether you like it or not, they are going to be the people spreading some message, some kind of message to the world. So this is our opportunity. We got them in with the music. This is our opportunity to get them prepared for whatever's coming next. So that's what I was saying.
Man, I think, to your point, first of all, I agree with everything you just said. And I had a mentor tell me once that, to work like it's all up to you, and then to pray like it's all up to God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so it's this, talking about that balance between the ministry and then also the industry, is that, that faith without works thing. I mean, it's in there. We just, we got to grind, but then at the same time, we got to lean, I think, as hard as we grind on God. And I just love what you said about that in terms of we have an opportunity now to shape the messages of the kids now, because what we love about the folks or the kids or the students or whoever we bring in that's now carrying the baton is that they have a way of doing it that's relevant. That's what we can't knock. We can't knock that the beats are crazy,
it's working, and
the flows are off the chain, and it's a lot better than some of the folks that we were listening to earlier that are not competing with mainstream. They've got a great word, but the cadence is off, and the quality, to your point, is horrible. And so let's not pull them down, but let's help steer the message. I'm agreeing.
And the proverb that I always focus on, to me, is my challenge is to really figure out what this means for us. Is different versions say it differently, but the one that is I'm gonna focus on is it says the horse is prepared for battle, but the victory belongs to the Lord. I think that's the balance between ministry and business, right? It's like you do your work, right? Like do the work, like get on there, do your emails and whatever. But as a Christian that none of this is gonna win. Like I can't sharpen my sword strong enough. I can't do enough practice to actually win this battle. God is the one that decides that. Amen. But I'm gonna be as ready as I can.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think that's the balance. And that none of this advice is for Wado. Wado is actually really trying to be a minister, and I just think he sees a different future for him than what he's been doing.
But
to me, this is bigger.
But
to me, he put the work in for his ministry. I think his ministry. I think he's starting to realize that his ministry is bigger than just Christian hip hop. Your ministry is with the people you see at your church. It's with the kids that are in your circle. It's more than just Christian hip hop. And I encourage everybody. Y'all know. I don't want to be bound to Christian hip hop ever, because the vision is bigger than all of this. It's like, think of what Sam is doing. He's doing books and doing this and this, actually talking to people in the street, interfacing with them at these parties that he throws. Like, it's supposed to be bigger than, it's never been supposed to be about this genre. And I think everybody needs to realize that. The people who've been in it for a long time, people that are coming into it, if your vision is just Christian hip hop, it's too small. This is supposed to be something that changes people's lives, actual lives. So anyway, let's get back into it. You in the field with the track stars, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let go.
Hey guys, Miracle here. Thank you so much for watching that episode. Make sure you go below, like it, subscribe, click the bell, and make sure you follow us on all forms of our social media. Also, check out our website and be sure you spread the word. We'll see you next time.
We know not what we doing. Screw that, they know, let them have it, do it. Okay, I'm erratic, prove it. Never mind, got a mind that'll wind up with me in a lineup behind bars with these bars. Okay, my time's up.
Team Freedom. We not through yet.
All right.
Trackstarz Music presents.
Turn my volume up. Turn me off.